What is up, guys? Welcome to First Cut. I am Andres. I'm obviously here with RB3 and Sabrina. Obviously, guys, this is going to be a very different First Cut live. We're doing this completely in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. All of our donation and all of our streams are going to be dedicated. Super chats are all going to be dedicated to Breonna Taylor's GoFundMe and the Bail Project as well. First off, I just want to quickly say that we at First Cut strongly support the Black Lives Matter movement that is taking place around the nation and around the world right now. Just like everyone else, we were outraged at what we saw with George Floyd and the senseless killings of Black men and women that have been happening, specifically at the hands of the police department. We have to call it out like it is because that's what it is. The reality of the fact is that the death of George Floyd should not have happened. The death of Breonna Taylor should not have happened. Ahmaud Arbery, Michael Brown, countless other names that are continually added to this list of killings that should not have happened, murders that should not have happened. Now is the time to speak up and support this movement. There is no room for silence, and there's no room for condoning any kind of racist rhetoric. We will not stand for that. I will not stand for that. All three of us will not stand for that. And now is the time to stand together to create a seismic shift in the nation towards justice and peace within this society. And I really wanted to say that before we start out. And obviously, I want to give the mic to you, RB3. You had some words that you wanted to say. So right away, man, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah, obviously, we can't really go on the stream without addressing the obvious recent controversies that's been happening on Twitter and on YouTube. So if you're not familiar by now, it's all on my Twitter feed. I basically went out and called out a colleague of mine who I work with at a particular show. And, I basically called him out for some very inappropriate tweets. And they're tweets that I'm not comfortable repeating. They're tweets I'm not really wanting to fully digest and talk about in general. But, I called him out, and I've received a lot of hateful comments, a lot of bad comments, a lot of bad tweets. I really personally stay away from YouTube comments, so I haven't really been diving into those. But just what I've been seeing on Twitter, we're already getting death threats, already getting all sorts of things, which I'm totally cool with. Those are all comes with the parts of that's all part of having principles and having morals and standing by your convictions, and that's something I've always believed in. So it doesn't really shake me too much, but it's just unfortunate. But I want to take this opportunity to kind of address a few kind of things that I've been seeing commonly go around through the tweets and the comments that I don't know. I just kind of need to address. So first of all, I'm sick of this whole narrative that people are saying I bullied Robert Meyer Burnett. For number one, I did not bully him. He bullied me. His fan base bullied me. You can look right there in the tweets. He literally attacked me. I wish I would have gotten, and here's the thing that's really funny. I wish I would have gotten, I'm gonna turn off the alerts right now, people. Yeah. But and no, at the end of the show, we're having the segment of the show where we're taking like Schmobot-esque kind of questions where, we're replying to the robot voice and whatnot, but that's going to happen later on towards the show. But yeah, when you look at his original tweet, I wish I would have gotten screenshots of it, because when I originally replied, I originally said, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. You should probably delete this. But after I asked him to delete it, he literally replied twice, mad aggressively, defending his ignorance. Myself, Dwayne, Dorian, Jay Washington, and many others tried to explain to him exactly why this was a bad look, but he kept coming, and he kept coming at me. I was the one being bullied. Let's just switch up that whole narrative to begin with. And again, I don't have screenshots, so if anybody has those screenshots, I'd love you to share them. That'd be really great and appreciative. But this was all before I did the bigger kind of tweet that it didn't go viral, but it kind of sparked a lot of outrage with kind of officially calling him out through the quote tweet. But yeah, he came at me mad aggressive those two times, and we can't see him because he deleted the tweet. But I just wanted to let people know he was the one doing the bullying. That was bullying of me. Secondly, even after he deleted the tweet, he continued to double, triple, and quadruple down. At that point, I had no other choice, like to just call it out and make it a big deal. And when I called him out, he told me, F me, I'm a disingenuous a-hole, all of these really, really inappropriate things, which was on a level that I really hadn't brought it to at that point. Now, after he brought it to that level, of course I respond with a little sass, a little sauce. That's just what I do. But the inception who really started the bullying was Robert Meyer Burnett, which gets to my next point. The whole, we need to have a conversation. We need to have a conversation. We had the conversation. We had it. It's right there. It's public on Twitter for everyone to see. What I would have said in private to him is the exact same thing I would have said in public to him. No change, no differentiation. And you know what's funny too? He probably would have said the exact same thing to me. And that's what's really funny. If he had said the exact same thing to me, he would have been trying to gaslight me. Yeah, he would have been trying to say he's not what he said wasn't racist. He would have tried to make me think that his actions weren't racist. And behind closed doors, it would have just been nothing. But the public needed to know. The public needed to hold him accountable. That's what it's about, accountability. And, you know, I can't do it alone. I'm just a 22, 23-year-old kid who's a camera guy, editor for the Schmodown, whatever. But the people, the colleagues, they have the voice, they have the power, and they can at least help him show him the path of why it was wrong. So that's, and again, if he doesn't understand what he did wrong, I don't need to explain that to him. That's not my job. That's not my prerogative. That's not what I need to do remotely. Okay, so, and that gets to my third point too. A lot of people are like, oh, you obviously don't know his politics. You don't understand his politics. Wrong. I know exactly the politics that he's representing here. It's the exact kind of neoliberal, kind of fake Democrat-y who claims to love diversity and, oh, I'll vote for Obama for a third time. But when things get a little tough, they get mad enthusiastic and ready to shoot a black person. That's the exact kind of liberal that he is. That's the exact kind of person that's the exact kind of white people that Jordan Peele is literally trying to tell us about and Get Out. And that's something that black people have experienced for years. And we know it. You already know. And whatever his overall political beliefs is, let's just break down the politics of his tweet. Here's a moment that every gun owner really wants. That is extreme right-wing gun ownership sympathizer stuff right there. No question. Secondly, deadly force, shoot to kill, capital punishment. That's number one. Advocating for murder, literal murder. Authoritarianism, having a system where you don't have to hold accountability, where anybody with any kind of authority or power is just automatically deemed right. So, and again, a literal advocacy for murder. Third point, every private citizen, every private business, deadly force. Again, it's this right-wing concept that a business owner or businesses matter more than human lives. You don't need to go out to defend yourself with guns and with looters. There's insurance for that. And obviously, we're talking about a case where this older African-American gentleman was shot trying to protect his brother's property, and RIP to David Dorn. And this is no disrespect to him or his legacy at all. But this is, frankly, what RMB is trying to convey here is preaching to this extreme, super far right, super disgusting narrative that is anti-protesters, that's anti Black Lives Matter, and he's feeding right into it. And all you got to do is look at the replies to know exactly what what side he's on, and the people who agree with him, what side they're on too. But at the end of the day, none of it is about politics. None of this matters because race is not a political issue. Black lives are not a political issue. It's a human issue. America was built on the back of slavery. Our capitalist system was molded by slavery. If you are an American, you have inherited racism. It's in the DNA of this country. It's the same way that black people have inherited generational trauma. White people, you've inherited generational privilege. Hence why, in this case, in this Black Lives Matter movement, there's nothing that white people need to do but be allies. Just support. You don't need to diverge the conversation somewhere else. It's not time to try and add separate points or convey what you want to convey. No, it's time to check your privilege, use it somewhere else, and it's not the time to exercise anger to create a counter narrative. And again, I want to continue by saying my deepest condolences to David Dorn. He did not deserve this. He did not deserve to die. It's a tragedy and it's hurtful and it's terrible. It's terrible and terrifying to see that the world has come to this place. But this is a matter that R&B should not have involved himself in. He, as a white man, used this instance of black on black violence to justify shooting looters. For one, you have no place in this conversation. Like I said before, this is for us. This is a black movement for black equality, and you're bringing up a whole entirely different issue. And if black people want to have the conversation about black on black violence, absolutely. But the one person who shouldn't be having that is R&B. So it was vile, it was ugly, it was racist, and it was absolutely unacceptable behavior. So what now? Well, to me, this is the way I kind of look at it, right? Black people, we're so often expected to revisit and exploit our trauma for either the purposes of like entertainment value or explaining race or racism to white people. We see that all throughout movies, through television, through biased news coverage that villainizes our community, and through constantly being asked to explain our torment. And frankly, I am not interested in participating in that with R&B whatsoever. This man is a 52-year-old man, or 53. I believe he just turned 53. He should know exactly what his statements represent, especially in this complicated racial climate. And frankly, if he doesn't know by now, nothing that I, a 22-year-old black man, can say will ever convince him otherwise. At this point, he has 30 years more life than me. He should know by now what's going on. And I personally think that even having this conversation just kind of normalizes violence and anti-blackness to a point to where no matter how the dialogue resolves itself, I'm ultimately going to have to find myself being somewhat apologetic towards supremacist behavior. There's no way I can stand for that. There's absolutely no way I can stand for that. He became so enraged by his narcissism that he neglected to consider the consequences of his actions and his words. Both him and his weirdo fan base attacked me, bullied me, because they refused to listen. And R&B's refusal to check his privilege and listen to his colleagues is exactly what our friend of the show, Clark Wolf, was talking about in her tweet. Instead of owning up to what he did and apologizing and acknowledging that what he's saying is coming from a place of privilege and that he has no place of speaking on these certain issues, he instead decides to gaslight and offset blame elsewhere. And this might be a little bit of what the kids might consider spilling the tea or whatever, but I'm just going to say it because, my name's been dragged through the mud enough at this point. This is the exact reason why he was kicked off of Collider Heroes in 2018. Without going too much into it, R&B said a lot of things that the powerful women behind Collider Heroes just couldn't stand for. And again, instead of acknowledging his wrongdoings, he put his foot in his mouth and he was no longer invited to the show. If people want to know that, there it is. That's the answer. This is a repeated pattern for RBM, a pattern that I'm not interested in participating in. He never reached out to me for an apology. He never acknowledged his actions. He never acknowledged how his actions are detrimental to the Black Lives Matter cause. In fact, even in his little weak sorry apology video, he was saying sorry, my anger, the emotions. You're not even beginning to acknowledge how the million different ways what you did was wrong. And again, he continues to blame this stuff on emotions, anger, but that's literally no excuse. Knowing I have to work with somebody who can react so violently and so intense to something that they see on social media that they start advocating for shoot to kill from just think about this from an American perspective. I can't help but to recall the endless mass shootings that we've been seeing throughout recent years. The gun toting, the propaganda that we've been seeing from the right. And that's just from the issue of mass shootings. We're talking about from an African American perspective next. And honestly, this is the perspective that that the entire world is now seeing come to a stop. I'm literally just reminded of all the white supremacy terror our people have endured throughout the history of this country. From slavery to segregation to the countless number of KKK massacres and lynchings and everything that our people have experienced. Black people have to live in fear every single day. But when you have somebody like R&B who during this type of climate, he shows that he is willing to sympathize with white supremacy and white supremacy beliefs, it just adds a whole new level of fear, frankly. And people like myself, people like Dwayne, people like Jay Washington, people like Janine, people like Chance, everybody who's black in the movie Trivia Schmodown, we all have to look a little bit harder over our shoulders with more precaution, frankly. The added fear that we know somebody in our space, in our precious movie space, in our community, can just snap and take it out on us and try and justify it because of his anger or his emotions. It's sickening. It's sad, and it's a shame that he won't even acknowledge it. So shame on you, R&B. Shame on your goofball fan base. Shame on anyone who chooses to defend him. I'm going to end this off by saying RIP to David Dorn, because that's really who matters in this case. So whatever you want to say, whatever commenters want to say, whatever Twitter wants to say, you're not gonna hurt me. You're not gonna affect me. There's way bigger things in the world that's happening that's way more important. And yeah, there's just nothing you're gonna do. So that's the end of it for me. That's all I have to say on that matter. I really, honestly, probably am never gonna talk about this again. If R&B wants to reach out to me and talk and have an apology, feel free to. I'm gonna say the exact same things I said here. But if he wants to come to some sort of resolution, honestly, I don't know. We could figure something out. But at the end of the day, I'm not apologizing. I'm not gonna sympathize with anything that this guy says. That's not me. That's not my principles, and that's not something that anybody should be advocating for. So that's the end of that.
Thank you for saying that, man. Yeah, this whole situation is just completely ridiculous and unnecessary. And if I'm being honest, I want to add a little bit more. I wasn't going to, but since you did, I will too. But I want to give Sabrina an opportunity to speak up as well. So Sabrina, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just in a time like this is exactly what's completely unacceptable. So to even see this happen, I know we're done with the thing, but I just want to say nothing but love to RB3. I know everybody watching this is probably on the same page as me. RB3 is one of the shining beacons in this entire community, in this entire space. Everyone loves RB3. I have said countless on so many different platforms. I've talked about, how much RB3 has changed my life. I've told him about it since I met him. I met him at such a pivotal kind of time in my life. Everything was changing. And I'm just so grateful and just always constantly sending my love. And I'm so happy that you are so kind, so intelligent. It's so insane to kind of see such a young, intelligent voice standing up for himself, and for everybody who was reading that and feeling the same thing, but had a smaller voice and didn't get the opportunity to speak up. So I just want to say, always RB3, I'm so glad that you have the platform you do and you are the person that you are, because it honestly makes this entire community so much better.
If the only thing I'm gonna add, and I said it to you privately, I'm gonna say it on here just because whatever. I guess now is the time to speak up. Is honestly, man, there should be a no tolerance policy within the Schmodown community when it comes to the type of comments that I was reading yesterday. I was fuming yesterday. The idea that some Schmodown fans have that you pointing out the racist words and the racist rhetoric that he was preaching is somehow the same as shooting. As him saying, "Oh, RB3 is just as bad because he called him a racist." That's just plain evil. How stupid can you be? First of all, number one. Number two, those comments should not be allowed. If I'm being real, I'm gonna say right now, if there was someone up top that would speak up, that would be great. Right now, if someone would say, hey, you know what? I've noticed some comments. I've noticed some people coming at RB3. I'm not going to tolerate that. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a manager, a Schmodown manager, a Schmodown competitor. I don't care who. All I'm saying is someone up top should speak up. I'm not on SEN Live. If I'm being real, guys, I'm not. You guys are. You guys are in the Schmodown community. I only do the Star Wars thing. I love it. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun. But I haven't participated in Schmodowns. I'm brand new to this community. But from what I'm seeing, there seems to be a lot of tolerance for intolerance. And there seems to be a lot of tolerance for racist attitude and racist rhetoric that simply has gotten me completely upset and completely frustrated, because it's not hard to simply say, hey, this isn't okay. And this whole both sides mentality, this whole both sides need to be heard out kind of bullshit that I've been hearing is frankly stupid. And this whole, well, it's political and we don't talk politics is fucking bullshit. Honestly, it's fucking bullshit. Right now, this isn't about politics. Right now, it's about life and death. Right now, it's about change. Right now, it's about people being shot in the street and being shot by your own government. That's what it's about right now. So for you to make up this whole political thing and to claim that it's political, bullshit. And to people claiming it's cancel culture, I say bullshit to you too. And I say fuck you to you. Because honestly, this whole situation is simply driven by a racist attitude. They don't even know they're fucking racist, but they're fucking racist. And honestly, it pisses me off because that's the attitude that I've been seeing, honestly, since I've been in the online community, since I started 2015 with Schmoes. I would read those online comments and I would read it. And you weren't even there, RB3, but this is the kind of stuff that I've been trying to bring up forever.
You have. And you literally have, yes.
I literally have. I've been speaking to Mark. I've been speaking to Ken about this for years, since 2015, since I joined that. And I've been saying, hey, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a huge fan base that is pretty fucking racist, and maybe we shouldn't tolerate this. And honestly, there should be a zero tolerance policy for that kind of bullshit. Because guess what, guys? This isn't your front porch where you can just spew bullshit. This is an actual community, and if it's a community, why don't you bring a community that brings togetherness and not a community that tolerates bullshit? Because that's the kind of community I would want to see maybe on First Cut, right? That's the kind of stuff that I want to bring on First Cut. So when I see that kind of comments being thrown at you on the Facebook page, I'm calling out the Facebook page right now, on Twitter, and no one's speaking up, no one's saying anything like that, to me, again, my platform on the Schmodown is this. I'm talking about someone who has a bigger platform on the Schmodown. Someone speak up, because to me, that's just as bad. It's not good enough to simply remove RMB. That's not good enough. What should be done is to truly eradicate this fan-based community. I don't give a fuck if it's a Patreon supporter. I don't give a fuck if it's a longtime viewer. Fuck you, because that kind of attitude should be eliminated completely, because that's the kind of thing that's happening right now. Right now, we shouldn't allow this stuff to happen. And I've been fuming all day, and I'm sorry I had to talk like this. I've never talked like this before. But to me, that is what I want to be seeing. And again, this is coming from someone who's done 2 Schmodown matches. 2. I just, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm seeing now. Yeah. Imagine if I've been doing this for years, I probably would have been even angrier. But this is from 2 matches, and from what I've been seeing, I'm not in the Schmodown community, but from what I've seen, it doesn't seem to be a kind of good community, because those fans should not even be allowed to comment.
Yeah. And, you know, I want to say a big thank you to everybody on Twitter who's been supporting me. We've gotten people like Clark Wolf, like I said, Emma Fife, Jay Washington, Dorian, obviously, Dwayne, all those cats. I've been seeing mad people on Twitter who are friends of us, friends of the show. Eric Zipper, Sean Gerber, Joe Starr, literally like so many good people. Danny Fernandez. Let me give a special shout out to Danny Fernandez, Joelle, Monique, and Sabina Graves, because they have been active and like reporting a lot of these comments. They've been actively supporting me. I want to give them a big thank you for that too. And I also want to shout out a lot of the fans and supporters of the Schmodown who's been hitting me up, like Larry Payne, Jake Yakavetta, all of these people in Call to Action and the Fedstock Initiative, and all these different pockets of the community who's been speaking up and have been saying stuff. And yeah, in general, it's a world when it is tough to see that so much of the fan base decides that they want to turn their back against accountability. And that's what it ultimately is, y'all. I've spoken at length about what the idea of council culture is and all this kind of stuff, but this is not council culture. It's accountability. If he would have tweeted that exact same thing, been working a corporate job at Bank of America, guess what? They would have fired him too. So think about it. This is only different because it's public. And if I would have went behind the scenes and tried to DM him, he would have gaslit me. He would have attacked me in the same way that he attacked me in public, because frankly, that's what he genuinely believes. He genuinely believes in the stuff he said. And based on his apology, he genuinely still believes it. So how am I going to feel comfortable going to work knowing that he's still there? And basic accountability, people, use your minds, use your brains. If I don't know, maybe people genuinely don't want a world with consequences. People generally don't want accountability, but that makes no sense. These are real issues, and it's different than, for one, it's funny because I've been seeing so many people bring up like the James Gunn example, right? And for one, that's hilarious to me because, for one, if you watch this channel for like half of 2 seconds, you know exactly where I stand on James Gunn. So that argument doesn't even help you in my perspective at all. But number two, even in that case, he was making jokes. RBM was being serious. He was very serious. And his apology all but confirmed it. He was angry. How am I supposed to deal with somebody who can become so overwhelmed by anger that their reaction is shoot the looters, shoot black people? That's what that's dog whistle for. I don't know if you know what that term means, all you fans out there, but that's dog whistle. Every single word that he said was dog whistle for let's go out there and shoot some black people because they've been tearing too much stuff up. So I'm not going to stand by it. And I'm firm in my belief. There will never be an apology issued from me in general. I will never bend. I will never shake on any kind of whatever. It's ridiculous. It's one of the most insane things I've ever seen. But I do want to thank the good people in the community who's made this experience a lot better and a lot easier, and everybody who's just been friends and all that kind of stuff too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, obviously, I kind of want to, obviously you talked your stuff, and I appreciate you speaking up, man. I really do. And I'm glad you had the opportunity to say that. But I definitely want to move on eventually to kind of what's going on in the world now. And obviously you've been at the protest, RB3. I know Sabrina was jumping in, and I want to jump in as well. This is something that has been going on all around the world, frankly. And it's something that it should be said, and it has to be said. And honestly, if there's ever an opportunity to say something within the online atmosphere, even if you have 100 followers, 200 followers, I've been saying speak up, and a lot of people have been kind of rolling their eyes at me and being like, well, I don't know what to say, and speak up about what? And I'm just like, it's kind of easy. Like, all you have to say is, hey, what happened to George Floyd is evil. Hey, police brutality is real, and it's been happening forever, and you're ignoring it. And support Black Lives Matter. And how can you help? Which is give a donation, speak up, use your platform, sign a petition, call the mayor, call the DA from Minneapolis, call the mayor of Louisville, Kentucky. This is the kind of stuff that I've been doing, and I feel like anyone can do. So this is the kind of stuff that I want to kind of go back to right now in this moment, and tell anyone watching that, everything that we're doing here will 100% go to these two funds, the Bail Project and Breonna Taylor's GoFundMe. Tomorrow is Breonna Taylor's birthday, which is just heartbreaking. She's just a little bit younger than I am. She's 2 years younger than me. And she didn't get to have her 27th birthday. She was murdered in her own home, shot next to her boyfriend. This is the kind of stuff that people don't really hear about enough, and they should. I didn't hear about Breonna Taylor till a couple of days ago, and people have been yelling about it forever. And it's so frustrating that their voices are somehow drowned out by the rest of the media. And how the media has been covering this is something that I've been kind of upset about too, because of the way they're doing this old school magic trick bullshit, where they're telling you to look one way while the real issue is happening right here. And they're using the looting and the fascination with this whole idea of violence that is completely 100% bullshit. If I'm being honest, the only violence that I'm seeing is coming from the police. And the minimal violence that I'm seeing from the protesters are coming, frankly, from stupid teenagers, mostly white kids, and others who are just really angry and upset. And it's happening to property, not to people. And the way that people view property over the lives of African-American people, women and men, is kind of jarring to me. So this is something that I feel like when people say politics, fuck that again. And I'm saying a lot of bad words and I apologize, but this is how I speak and I'm going to speak it. Because it's not. Human life isn't political. People who are suffering isn't political. The idea of shooting someone isn't political. The idea of a policeman using their power to persecute isn't political. In fact, it is the most purest form of evil, because what it is you're hiding behind a badge and you're hiding behind the power that you have over someone with your uniform, and knowing that the kind of protection that you have and the kind of protection that you get allows you to take out your anger towards Black people and towards anyone that you deem is unworthy. And that's the kind of stuff that we're seeing right now. So I just want to bring attention to that. And I feel everyone, Asian, white, Arab, I don't care who you are, what race, anything, should be speaking up about this, because now is the time. I mean, I've seen people like Hassan Minaj, Trevor Noah talking to their communities. I've seen the Filipino community that's here in Phoenix speaking up about it, and the Filipino community in LA speaking up about it, because there is racism there too. Like, we should acknowledge our own racism within our own communities. If you're coming from a different community like I am with my Latino community, and I've been trying to speak up, and I've seen Danny speak up as well about the idea of Latinos kind of frankly ignoring all this, at least the Latinos that I see on my timeline and on my feed, ignoring it. And to me, it's now is the time where everyone should pay attention to this, and not just say, well, I'm not racist. Well, I don't like racism. Of course not. That's not good enough. It's about police brutality. It's about the systematic structures that have been set in place in this country that have made it a problem for Black people for centuries, since the beginning, since the creation of this country. So I feel like this is the opportunity we have as any kind of media personality. Like, my God, we have like, I have like what, 5,000 followers on Twitter? That's nothing, right? But I'm still using that as an opportunity to speak to those 5,000 or anyone who's listening. So I want to give you, Sabrina, an opportunity to speak up as well, because I know that you were hurt by this too.
Yeah, it's everything you said. I echo all of your sentiments. I mean, it doesn't matter. Everybody who's watching this, it doesn't matter if you have 15 followers or 100,000 followers. The reach is the biggest thing. Speaking up, posting about everything. One thing that I want to add is, in our original post about this live stream, after we're finished up, I'm going to be adding a thread of all different petitions to sign, all different ways you can help. We're going to be speaking on that throughout this episode, but there are multiple ways. And one of the biggest thing is just sharing these stories. Like Andre said, sometimes these stories can get buried and it takes time to hear about it. Ahmaud Arbery, his killers weren't even arrested for over a month and a half afterwards because of the media, because the media landscape, nobody was covering this. So once it came to light, we were able to get some type of justice. And I know his preliminary hearing was today. So I'm just waiting to hear how everything goes. And I am so happy that we have this platform to be able to discuss these types of topics with the people we are, with everybody watching this. I'm so grateful, but that's the thing. Every single person can make a difference. If you're not able to donate, sign the petitions. It takes a few minutes. And it is so sad to see George Floyd's petition have half the amount of people that hashtagged Black Lives Matter or like Blackout Tuesday. It takes the same amount of time to sign that petition as it would to post something about it. And that one is actually going to make a genuine difference. Of course, posting about it is great too for spreading the word, but the petition is what's really important. And This is something we've seen for so long. And every single time this happens, with Philando Castile, with Tamir Rice back years ago, these are names that should never leave our mind. This is the reason why we're doing all of this, to get justice for all of them as well. So a lot of these killers are still walking free, and that is not okay. I don't ever want that to happen to Breonna Taylor, which is obviously another recent one, and Ahmaud Arbery. This is where we should start to make a change at this point now. It should have been forever ago. But now, with the kind of unity we're experiencing with all these protests, with other countries protesting with us, it is the most beautiful thing to see people coming together for this, but it is not enough. Everybody else needs to come in because, again, as you said, this is not about politics. This isn't about Republican. This is not about Democrat. And we all need to come together for this. It's about racism. Racism is not political. This is human lives. This is something we all, if you don't care about this, if you're not deeply distressed by the news that you're hearing, I can't stress enough how wrong it is to just not care because it's not directly affecting your life. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm so happy that I'm able to share this platform with the two of you, and that we're able to talk about this, and that we have people watching, we have people listening, we already have so many people donating, and I am just eternally grateful. So yes, after this stream, I will be making a thread of petitions and of other ways, because donating isn't the only thing. Donating is a great, beautiful thing, especially to Breonna Taylor's GoFundMe, because they had one before and it got to its goal, but it was much smaller. Now, over the past few days, it has grown so much larger, and it's because people are talking about it, and it's because it's getting the attention it deserves. So thank you guys for watching this and being here with us.
RB3?
No, absolutely. And I'm glad that people are starting to, understand exactly how important this is, how important this movement is. I've called it the new civil rights movement. I think that's 100% accurate. It's time that we get top-down systematic change. I think every single police chief and every single precinct in the country should be investigated, evaluated, and have their, frankly, the position, their position looked at. And I think is incredibly, immensely important that we remember that these lives were taken from us, unjustly, unlawfully. And the way we can get back, and the way that we can hold justice, we can have justice and hold these people accountable, is by participating, is by being involved, is by being a part of the process. So please, everybody, if you have the opportunity to engage, if you have the opportunity to be a part of this process, please do. This is not the time you want to miss. Like, this can be, what shifts the country in a whole new direction. And honestly, we need that. It's long overdue. This has been long overdue since Trayvon Martin in 2012. We need just a re-evaluation of how we look at these issues fundamentally, from top down, all the way across the board. And if you're not with that at this point, bye. I don't want you as a fan. Andres said it before, Sabrina said it before too, but don't stick around. If you don't believe in the right thing, if you are sympathetic towards racism, if you're sympathetic towards the loss of Black lives, I don't want you to watch me. I don't want you to even talk to me, engage with me in no sort of way. I don't even want you, frankly, to engage with anybody who I know, who I talk to, who I engage with. And that's just being real. So I'm hoping that all these toxic, nasty people just are gone. So in that way we can start having real conversations. And, I am blessed that I'm with you two, and that we've always been able to keep shows like The Meaning Of and our channel First Cut pure, uncompromised, filled with integrity. So then that when we talk about issues like this, it's not surprising people. It's not, it's not doing something that's out of pocket. We've always felt these ways. We're always fighting for these fights. Now, if people wanna be with us for those fights and wanna talk about that stuff with us, that's your choice. But we're always gonna believe in what we believe in. We're always gonna have principle here. And our principle is that Black lives matter. Our principle is that everybody deserves equality. Everybody deserves to be acknowledged, and every life deserves to be saved, and every Black, brown, Asian American, Native American, any race, any gender, anybody in this world deserves to be heard and deserves to be heard equally. So, yeah, that's the kind of wave we should be on.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys when it comes to the chat. For some reason, I don't know if you guys have noticed me kind of fidgeting with this. I'm struggling to pull up the stream. I see a few here, but it's not letting me reload. So I'm kind of going to rely on you guys when it comes to RB3, any Streamlabs, and maybe Sabrina, any super chats that you see.
Yeah.
The first one I see right now is Christian Rubalcaba saying much love to you all, Black Lives Matter. And then I also have here Kyle Grandanita.
Grandanelli, yeah, Kyle. Hey, salute to Kyle.
Who says, thank you, Sabrina, beautifully said. Everything else for me is just frozen. So I'm sorry, it's not coming up.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I have a lot of them
ahead.
here. I have I would go through the super chats now. Larry Lee's donated $2. He said just showing support. Kyle again, Kyle Gradden, said, so much love for you, RB3. Thank you. Aaron Turner, who used to host the one of the Schmodown Rundown, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day. He said, I'm with RB3, hashtag Black Lives Matter. Thank you. Brandon Hanna donated $25 through Super Chat. And he said, just wanted to be clear, I stand with and support RB3 and First Cut 100%. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Thank you so much, Brandon Hanna. Greatly appreciate that. Joe Carnow, if I'm not mistaken. He donated and he said, y'all on fire. Cal donated again and said, thank you, Ace. Adam Collins said, lots of love, 100% with y'all. Thank you. Larry Lee's donated again, and he said, community is about unity, friendship, and good times, not racism and hate. Thank you so much, Larry Lee's. I really appreciate that, man. Again, Christian Rubicabra with a great donation there. And then Kyle again donated with like Andres said, thank you, Sabrina, beautifully said. And then we could get to the bigger Streamlabs towards the end of the show. But yeah, we've had some big Streamlabs in there. So yeah, thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, obviously, guys, thank you guys for everything that you guys have been donating. Yeah, obviously we're or at least I don't want to speak for you guys, but I'm going to donate as well. I don't know how to do it on here on YouTube. I've never done it, but I'll find a way.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I gave to the Minnesota Fund last week. And I feel like it's kind of it's an interesting time, right? I mean, and I want to talk about it because we do talk about the idea of money, and that's being kind of one of the best ways you can help. And the irony that a lot of people now are struggling to pay rent, I mean, we've been very vocal about it on this show and this channel. I've been very vocal about it on Twitter as well. And yet finding a way to kind of hurt a little to give towards this movement is part of doing your part, honestly. Bending a little bit and kind of hurting for cash and giving something that frankly you don't have is frankly biblical. That's something that's one of the best ways that you can show support, is giving even when you don't have much to give. Whatever you can give, that's good enough. So that's we appreciate it, honestly.
100%. And one of the ones that I donated to that I fully support, obviously, is Reclaim the Block. So they're a Minneapolis organization that has a petition, and it kind of asks for the city's council to defund police force, kind of freeing up resources to support marginalized communities. So that's something that I really love, and I will be putting stuff, again, in the thread, ways you can donate there as well. So there's a lot of really beautiful places you can donate, people that are doing so much good, because again, this kind of vocal unity that we're all having right now, like us as a community, and seeing a lot of people protesting everywhere on the streets, so many different pockets of LA. We have Santa Monica, we have places like in Silver Lake, I see people, and it's amazing. And it's so uplifting, and it's so enlightening for people who don't understand or haven't had the privilege to have not understood at the time. You know, some people don't live through this and they have that privilege, and then maybe this can get some of them to become more knowledgeable, to get educated, to have some type of reach to them where they can see the issue at hand, even if it doesn't affect their lives, because that is the most important thing. Just because it doesn't affect you in particular doesn't mean that this isn't a serious issue. Because of kind of the leadership we've had, this has obviously been going on for a long time, but we can't say that, you know, the leadership we've had for the past few years hasn't negatively affected us. We have, with Ahmaud Arbery's case, it is so sad that citizens, I know one of them was a retired police officer, citizens felt the need that they had to be judge, jury, and executioner in that case. That, oh my God, it makes me speechless. It truly does. So to see people talking about it, even later on in the fact, it had been a lot of time because it wasn't getting covered by the media, but to see finally that, you know, they had their preliminary hearing, they need to get charged. So just, again, being so vocal, signing those petitions, make your voice heard, because that is so important right now.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Before we continue, I do want to introduce a guest who we have in the waiting room right now. It's a dear friend of mine, is one of my dearest friends in the world. And she is a musician, and a very humanitarian-minded person. It's my friend Eris. Trying to get you in a Zoom call. I don't know how long this is gonna take. There we go.
Hey. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Hi.
Hey, Eris. So this is my friends Andres and Sabrina.
Nice to meet
you.
Yeah, and we're just as you know, as I informed you, we're doing a Black Lives Matter fundraiser, and we're just super excited. I know you are a talented musician, and we had music performance last live stream, and I kind of like the idea of doing that. So and I think there's a perfect time to like encourage Black creators and stuff like that. So, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. What are you gonna sing for us today?
I'm gonna sing my original song, Mornings. Me and my band wrote this song like last year, and I'm gonna perform it live.
Hey, ready. Can't wait to hear it.
Awesome sauce. Here we go. Mornings are hard, nights are the hardest. So I wait for sunlight to stroke my skin, and I'll wait for you like drops of dew on the thousands of planets distancing us now. And missing you comes in waves, and right now I'm drowning. So I count the clouds that share the sky, and I wish for you. I hope you wish for me too. On every cloud, on everything, the sunlight falling through the trees. Pretty please, I want you to want me. Mornings are so hard, evenings are my favorite, 'cause I watch the sun kissing the horizon, and I'm reminded of you. But sometimes the horizon feels closer than you are, and sometimes I'm convinced that you're further than the stars. But when I close my eyes and there you are, and now you're here, and our love goes farther than we could ever travel. As long as I'm with you, it doesn't matter at all. 'Cause the mornings are so hard. Ooh, mornings are so hard. you guys.
Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for lending your incredible talent to this live stream. That was stunning.
Thank you for allowing me to come on. I'm so glad to be a part of this. Thank you guys for hosting this platform. Robert, I know you the man. You know I know you the man. So thank you for the plug. Yeah, you guys keep doing what you're doing. It's seriously so impactful for you guys to be doing this in a time like this. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, first of all, my God, what a voice.
Oh,
Jeez.
it chills. Oh my God.
It's incredible. Is this your first like Zoom performance? I'm assuming?
Actually, no, I'm a music therapist. So I work at UCLA and we do telehealth. So I'm on the guitar with my kids a lot.
It's incredible. That's incredible. RB3, you put links down for people to find her?
Yes.
Thank you, and have me back if ever I can come back and help you guys do whatever. Please reach out to me. Robert, you know I'm a phone call away. So yeah.
Will do. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Aries.
Thank you. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Oh yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram. I have a music therapy page, e.lovesmusictherapy, or you can follow me at Eris, EIRESSS on Instagram, and then all the links are there. So yeah, thank you guys.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
That's
much.
perfect.
I think your mic is muted, RB3.
Is it? I can hear you.
It's
I just
muted.
saw it.
It's muted for the people at home, but we can hear each other, so I get it.
Yeah, we can hear each other.
My bad.
So if you want to repeat about her Spotify.
Oh.
Well, because I think that was all missed.
Yeah. It's so weird.
This is why we need you, Sabrina.
Yeah,
because I did not.
I didn't notice right till the end. I was like, oh wait, okay, got it.
Yeah, nah, my bad. I feel so stupid now.
Go ahead and say
Eris's Spotify and Instagram are in the description down below. So please come check it out. Go ahead and check it out. She's literally one of my favorite people in the entire world, and she makes such great music, and she does so many good things for the world. So please make sure you go follow her and go support her music.
That was great, man. You come in clutch with a great performance. Look at us, man. We're like a variety show now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I'm down for that.
It's a fundraiser. It's a fundraiser. So we're coming from all different.
Do you have any more comments?
We have a lot of super chats.
Super chats. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So Austin Cleese said, "Let's go # Black Lives Matter." Thank you, Austin. Meg was here, said F racism, period. Stay safe, y'all. Thank you, Meg. Future, I don't know who this is, but the name is funny. They said future Andrew Garfield Ramirez. Andrew Garfield. They said, I don't have any Black friends in my personal life, but I consider RB3 a friend. Much love and support. Thank you, Andrew Garfield Ramirez.
Yeah,
whoever you are. Larry Lease again with the super chat saying, RB3, you have my support 110%. Thanks for all the impressions. Thank you, Larry. Shug's in the chat. He said, here to support Ace, Sabrina, and RB3. We at the podcast support you and have your back. Appreciate RB3 for standing your ground. Much love to all the Schmodown community. # Black Lives Matter. Thank you, Shug. And then Kenzie, my roommate Mackenzie. She donated.
Kenzie.
Thank you, Kens. She's right there. Thanks, Kens.
She's literally right there.
She's literally right there. And then Cody Hall coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Cody. Thank you so much, Cody. And then Kyle Johnson saying, thank you guys for being so outspoken and honest. It's so important to be vocal during these times, and you guys are killing it. # Black Lives Matter. Thank you, Kyle. Harry Villela donated a super chat. Thank you. And then Kyle's again in the super chat saying that was so beautiful. So talking about the performance. So thank you, Kyle, for that one. And then Brandy Parker, she said so beautiful. So thank you, Brandy.
RB3, do you have any Streamlabs you want to get to? I kind of want to finish up with one thing. So if you have Streamlabs, you can maybe get to them now.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over the $10 threshold, so they're all going to be like, you know, voice things or whatever. Okay, so let me go ahead and play a couple right now. My phone is being a little weird.
While we got some more super chats, so while you figure that out, that's amazing. Marketplace Audit with a $20 super chat, thank you so much. And the girl with the Dragon Ball Z tattoo, thank you so much for the super chat, $20 super chat. And then 153 Impulse donated and said, God bless you guys, hashtag Black Lives Matter. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. So this is going to be our first one coming up from, this one is actually coming from Jake Yakiveta. So,
here you go.
You are so valuable and so needed.
Oh, sorry about that. That was the wrong thing. But Jake, yeah.
I'll take it.
Jake Yakaveta says salute. That was it for his message. This one's coming from Johnny Youngblood. He donated $20. We'll go ahead and play that.
Hashtag justice for Floyd.
Yeah. That was a new one that just came in. Okay, great. Let me see here. This one comes in from Glenn Caesar.
As I'm sure everyone else will say, thank you all for doing this. Much love to you all. I'm more than happy to lend my support. Big time salute to you and everyone else who shows their support in whatever way that they're able to. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Wow. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
It sounded like Judi Dench was telling me. It was perfect. Yeah, I'll take it, Judy.
I love the British lady. This one's from Robert.
To amplify the right voices and listen to the right stories. It's not a political issue, it's a moral one.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robert, for donating that. This one's from Perdice. 1 second. It's going to take a second to load, looks like. There we go.
Much love to all three of you, and I stand with RB3 and First Cut, and I will support RB3 and First Cut. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Wow. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, man. PC joined in with another Streamlabs.
RB3, tell us good stuff. Like, how did you met your girlfriend? We support you.
Oh wait, that was in P. Was that PC? Oh yeah, that's right. That was PC. How did we meet? We met at the movies. And that was
sometimes I feel like you make stuff up. Like, did you really?
Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
Movies bring everybody together. They found love at the movies.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever do that.
Nah, I mean, it was crazy. It was just random, but it worked out perfectly. So, and she's been brilliant, and you know, we've been doing this thing where we've been taking food and water out there to the protesters and stuff like that. So, really, really great stuff on her end. She's literally like an angel. So,
shout out to Destiny.
Shout out to Destiny. I know she's in the chat. I know she's watching. Love. Yeah, no, absolutely. This next one is coming in from Mel Garcia, who's a friend, who's a good friend, by the way. Great Schmodown supporter and fan. Let me see what's taking so long. There we go.
It's not enough to be not racist, you have to be anti-racist. Thank you all for doing this. The biggest thing this time around is to keep our foot on the gas and never turn down the volume. Ace, if you need a protest brother here in Azim riding.
A protest brother in Arizona, that's what he meant.
In Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him and I've talked about him.
Yeah. Thank you,
protest, I mean.
Oh yeah. No, thank you, Mel Garcia. Greatly appreciate that. We have one coming in from Knapsack's Ponytail.
Love you guys. Keep spreading the love and the good word. But RB3 Patrick Ewing is still better than Magic Johnson. Black Lives Matter always and forever.
Ooh, I don't know if I can concede to that one. But yeah.
There's another one?
No, that one just is a super chat. But yeah, Knapsack, I don't know, man. I don't know about that Patrick Ewing take. I conceded on the Michael Jordan take. I conceded already. I conceded. You already got me.
I'm with you. I think Magic Johnson's clutch, dude.
Yeah.
I understand all our shows are entertainment, but we all have the responsibility to not only entertain but provide an example. This isn't politics, it's humanity. If anyone needs this explained further, they can catch me in them Twitter streets.
That one came from Dwayne. Dwayne. Thank you, man. Greatly appreciate that, man.
Gosh.
Greatly appreciate. I mean,
that was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne's literally that guy, man. Thank you so much for supporting me and holding me down through this entire weekend, because you've really been out there fighting the Twitter trolls, man. So thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it.
Dwayne is an angel of a human.
Yeah.
So much love to Dwayne.
Any more? If not, there's some super chats, by the way. I see them.
Okay, there was, again, I'm gonna try this one from Johnny Youngblood one more time because it really didn't fully come through. The Prince Who Wasn't Promised was the one who gave the Streamlabs for $50 that said justice for George Floyd. Also, I want to shout out Lucas from Call to Action. He donated $250. So thank you, Lucas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really helping us out with this thing. And I'm gonna try Johnny Youngbloods one more time. He's been a huge supporter of us since like day one. So I really literally can't go without showing his Streamlabs or their Streamlabs. I'm sorry.
Won't be there for the stream, but thank you for all the work you've been doing. No justice, no peace. Keep fighting. We're with you. You are so valuable and so needed.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. I have one right here from 156 Impulse saying, God bless you guys. Black Lives Matter. Sari donated as well, saying morning from Sydney. Much love to you guys all. Stay strong. Salute. Black Lives Matter.
Racism is not politics or political. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Great. Who was that?
That was from Perdice. That was from Perdice. Again with another one. So thank you.
Thank you.
The Prince Who Wasn't Promised says hashtag Black Lives Matter, donated 20.
Thank you.
Yeah, these are all great. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Maybe we can leave a little bit of time left for at the end to read some more.
Yeah.
I kind of just want to finish up kind of going to you guys a little bit with people. You know what I've been doing? I don't know if you guys have been doing the same. I've been trying to read and hear from people that have kind of spoken up a little bit and kind of appreciate what they're doing and appreciate what they've done so far. Is there any one person? It doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be someone maybe on Twitter or someone, you know, personally who's done something this week or who really spoke to you this week. It could be a celebrity. It could be something they said or did. I don't know if you guys have one ready, but I'll go to you, Sabrina.
Yeah. For a celebrity, John Boyega is somebody, if you've seen the videos and everything, the passion and the fire, because especially with everything that he's kind of dealt with the past few years from like Disney and Disney fans and Star Wars fans, to see him be so strong and so vocal, it is incredible. And he even said, he's like, who knows if I'll have a career after this? I don't care. That's not the issue. He has gotten emotional. He has said like, support our Black women. Like it is just, everything he's saying is just so beautiful. So I of course, John Boyega is one of them. And then for kind of people in the community, Winston and Jay, Blurs in the Hood, what they did the other day, they raised so much money on their stream, and they donated. I know they donated to a Black owned, was it a coffee shop?
I'm not 100% sure, but yeah.
It was a Black owned business, had a GoFundMe, and they funded almost the entire thing.
Yeah.
Almost the entire GoFundMe. So that's absolutely incredible. And then of course, everybody that's using their platform for good. You know, I know Ben Goddard has a stream today. I know Roxy's been doing her stream that RB3 was on. All of that is so important. So yeah, shout out to everybody who's using their platform for good.
RB3.
Yeah, most definitely. I want to shout out on the celebrity tip. I want to shout out Killer Mike. Killer Mike gave a beautiful speech a couple couple days ago that I thought was heartfelt, was genuine, and he was speaking from the perspective of both a black man, a black man with police in his family, a black man who owns a small business, but he also spoke from the perspective of understanding the systematic injustices that led to this point. And he really is, he's always been on the fight towards progress and stuff like that. So I appreciate what he had to say, because there was a lot of honesty. I'm sure it was tough, and it was I salute Killer Mike for everything he's been out there doing. You know, in terms of creators, I always got to shout out T. You know, and her channel, everything that she does. I don't want to, I mispronounced her channel a bunch of times, so I kind of want to be careful. But I'm sure, Andres, you know the name of it, right?
I don't want to get it wrong either.
I think it's yeah, but you look up T, and she's literally one of the smartest, most powerful black women I've ever
incredible.
Had the pleasure of talking to. Like, I was literally a big fan of her before we met her.
That's
working
right.
for Schmoes, and I was such a big fan of her even before that. But yeah, she's great, and she's been really passionate and out there, and been laying out a lot of good stuff. So I appreciate her for that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's been a lot of John Boyega is kind of the biggest one that comes to my mind, what I've seen from last week. I'm gonna give a shout out just because I watch ESPN a lot. Killer Mike, when he went on ESPN and called out Drew Brees, I was like, dude, that was the smartest call out I've ever heard.
And his roommate, Drew Brees, not Drew Brees, not his roommate, his teammate. I'm forgetting the name.
Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah, Malcolm Jenkins. Yeah, he had a powerful statement. You know, that against Drew Brees too, that I thought was really powerful as well.
Yeah, obviously my NBA homies, Malcolm Brogdon was speaking up, and I appreciate that. I thought he was one of the most well-spoken. Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics speaking up. But if the ones that kind of got me the most, and I know people kept sharing it, and I was like, fine, I'll watch it. It was the Trevor Noah video. I don't know if you guys saw that, but the way he eloquently broke down the systematic failures of the United States and the natural reaction that people have in the protest. It was one of the most beautiful ways I've ever heard anyone say that. That guy is like a preacher in another universe, like definitely. It's funny how he's a comedian, but I was like, this guy could be a preacher. But anyways, him and last night with Hassan Minhaj, the way he called out his community, the way he called out the Asian community, just every community, and kind of calling out that subtle racism and talking about what we can do in our own community. Him doing that was incredible. And the way he broke down the way the media has been covering it was, that's the kind of stuff you show to your parents, because I feel like parents are kind of like, oh, look at the media. And I'm just like, look at this. I think those two are the ones that kind of nailed it the most for me, the way they broke it down. Yeah. And obviously shout out to my ESPN brothers, Bomani Jones, Clinton Yates. Those guys have been spitting facts on ESPN for a minute, and that's my sports connection too. And I could go on a sports rant, but I won't, just because I feel like there is so much systematic racism in sports that I'm glad that ESPN is talking about it, or at least some ESPN people are talking about it. Not everyone, but I'm glad they're calling them out and being like, hey, college football, NFL, like there's a ton of racism in college football and the NFL, MLB, hockey, like my God, Tiger Woods, like that's the kind of stuff that we should be doing. We should be holding these people accountable. And I think now is the time. So that's kind of my final thoughts and my final shout outs.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Before we go, any final Streamlabs?
Let me see. We just had one come in from our friend of the show, Danny Ramirez. We just let me go, or Danielle Ramirez, I should say. I'm sorry. Let me refresh real quick. Sorry, y'all. The Streamlabs from the phone is always like a tricky thing. Let's see here. She said,
it's always good to hear y'all's voices, especially during times like these. Keep up the great work on the streams and in the streets. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
I have one from AJ Lancaster saying, okay, sorry, I had to read it first. I'm not sure what he means, but I'm still going to read it. Justice for James Scurlock. Sorry to bring up a sore subject, but he was murdered for trying to wrestle a gun from a well-known racist club owner. That's why we don't say it. That's why we don't say shoot to kill.
Yes, absolutely.
That story is really, really sad. So I really hope there's justice for him too, because obviously that was a really recent one that happened not too long ago. So that I will be adding a petition for him as well. So
Yeah.
There you go. Knapsack's Ponytail says, not sure if you saw my super chat earlier, DM'd it. DM'd you the screenshots from RB's original post. Didn't get the pics of his terrible followers replies though. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Kyle Grandinetti, I'm still going to mispronounce your name, brother. Grandinetti is back. He says, thank you all. Love you all. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we have any final words, I guess I'll start and just say this is important. And I mean, it goes without saying, but I'll still say it. Black Lives Matter is a movement that should be supported by all. And I really want it to see supported by all. I feel now more than ever, anytime you have a shakeup in the world, you need to, instead of letting go, keep shaking, shake harder, keep going at it, because I feel like that's when we can tip something where we finally get some form of justice or some form of change. So anytime there is some sort of world shakeup taking place, you should add anything you can to it. Again, we've said what you can do, whether it's donations, petitions, speaking up, speaking to people, letting them know. That's the kind of stuff we can do, protesting, helping the protesters. Like, that's what we can do as a society to create a change. And I feel like now it's important, especially in this time in democracy, in society, in America, to speak up about this systematic racism towards Black people that's been going on for so long. And I think we should use any kind of platform that we have to say that. And honestly, justice for George Floyd, obviously, justice for Breonna Taylor, these Black men and women who are being systematically murdered by the police department needs to stop. And I think this is something we should all agree on. So that's kind of my final thoughts.
100%. Yeah. Echoing everything you said. If you're out there protesting, stay safe as possible. You know, I know people are saying maybe don't post too much, don't post other people's photos, just because they can further target you. They had before, like in Ferguson, there's a lot going on there. So kind of cover up, stay safe, do your part. I'm with you. I'm there as well. So I'm going to make sure that I take the steps to stay safe, wear your masks, do all of that. Because I'm just so happy that we have this platform again with all of you guys who have stayed for this entire stream. Like, we see you in the chat, and it's honestly the most beautiful thing. And I know you guys are also here with us. So I'm just happy we get to be able to have this conversation, and we get to be able to talk to you guys about it, and to reach as many people as possible, and to donate to these incredible causes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say, whatever way you can help is the right thing to do. If you are white and you're an ally, please don't get in the way of Black protesters. Don't get in the way of the Black Lives Matter movement. Don't get in the way. Don't try and interfere. Don't try and just be supportive. Be there for us. But don't step on our movement and make something into something that is not. And at the end of the day, if you can't donate, go out there and stand with the protesters. If you can't stand with the protesters, share, support. Get the message out there. Sign the petitions, retweet, everything you want to do. I saw some people reply to my video that I posted on my Twitter a couple days ago, talking about like, oh, what if we can't protest or donate? What do we do? Okay, then you know what you need to do. Sign the petitions.
Sign
tweet.
a petition. Speak up. Yeah.
Speak up.
There's always something you can do.
And talk to your other white friends about what they're doing wrong if you see them doing something wrong. That's what we got to do. We all got to advocate for change. We all got to advocate for justice. And we all have to vote make sure you vote, not just for the presidential stuff. I'm talking local elections. I'm talking, they have elections. I don't know if people know this, but they have elections for people like the sheriffs and people like the judges and the lawmakers. So you have to read very carefully, be very cautious of what you do and who you vote for. That's the exact problem we just had in LA. There was huge protests and movements against one of our people, Jackie Lacey, who's been doing a terrible job prosecuting cops and everything like that. And she had a lot of young people who voted against her for re-election, but it's the older people who had no idea, who aren't active in politics and just see, oh, they're the incumbent, I guess I'll go vote for them again. Must have been doing something right, but without the awareness of what that vote actually means. So if you don't know what your vote means, research, find out who you're voting for, find out what you're voting for, and vote. That's how we get change. And if people want to see, I gave a very detailed list of solutions that I think we could do that can help us start moving towards the right path. I talked about a lot of that on Roxy Stream on Monday. So if you want to go there and check it out, I 100% support, investigating every single police chief and figuring out what injustices happen in their precinct. I'm 100% down for giving all police officers at least minimum 4 years of training before they have to step out and protect the communities, instead of this whole 6-week, 8-week program nonsense. I think we have to have a fair court system. I think we have to have a fair judicial system. And I think, frankly, we have to cut the budgets and defund a lot of these police departments and use those funds to reestablish and re-empower Black communities and minority communities. And to some extent, I think reparations is also the step that we also need to take too. But that's not now. That's way further down the line. But we got to address the issues that we got to get right now, and the issues that we have to address now is the issues of police brutality, the issues of race in America, the tolerance of race in America, and the tolerance of terror. And we gotta completely dismantle that. We gotta understand that Black lives truly matter, and we have to get to a place where that is a universal truth for everybody involved.
Yeah, thank you so much, RB3. And obviously, on behalf of Sabrina and I, thank you, RB3. I mean, thank you for being vocal. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for not shying away from conflict, because I feel like now it's kind of what we need. We need conflict in order to come out of it in a different way. And in order for change to actually happen, we need to create some sort of conflicting situation and to call out something that is not acceptable. And you do that, and you do that all the time. That's kind of why I tweeted. I said, this has always been the case. This isn't new. I really want, and I know they do, but I really want more people. And this is kind of my call out to everyone in the community, everyone in the online community, to use your talents more, to amplify your voice more. Obviously, this is your channel just as much as it is Sabrina and I's channel, and this is anything you want to say and anything you want to do. But at the same time, I feel like so many people are like, oh yeah, RB3. And I'm just like, dude, this has always been the case. Like, RB3's always been a badass. Like, this is you being slow to pick up on that. And I'm calling out people to be like, hey, like, open your eyes, bro. Like, RB3 isn't just a camera guy. Like, RB3 is one of the greatest voices I've ever heard. One of the best speakers I've ever heard. And he should be more on channels, and he should be more on videos, and he should be used more as a talent, not just as an editor. And I wish people saw that more often, and I'm glad they're seeing it now. So that's just kind of my final thing too. There you go. I don't know if you want to add anything, Sabrina.
Yes. Like I said before, I've said this 1,000 times. RB3 is so young and so intelligent. When he speaks, we need to listen genuinely, whether it is about film or whether it is about life. The passion he brings to the table in all different aspects is just so inspiring, is so important. And I am just so grateful to be on a platform with you. Like, I can't stress this enough, both of you guys. Like, I'm just so grateful to have this team and have you guys both here for me, and I'm here for you as well. It's the support that comes throughout this trio is just so immense and so palpable. And it's just, I love you guys. So thank you so much, RB3, for everything you've done, just leading up until this point, and just how intelligent, how outspoken you've been. That's what we need. As Andre said, you know, conflict, it helps like create change. And so thank you again.
No, I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And obviously, thank you for everyone who donated. We appreciate you.
We have a couple more Streamlabs that came.
Oh, we
through.
do? Perfect. Let's finish up with that.
So we'll finish up with those real quick. And let me turn on the noise so y'all can hear the little replay. All right, we got one coming in from Ryan Chandler.
Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Thanks for the show, RB3, Sabrina, and Ace. I'm watching and I'm listening.
Thank you, Ryan Chandler.
So
greatly
much.
appreciate that. We have another one coming in from Hawk, R&B. I don't know who this is, but
Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Latinos for Black Lives Matter.
thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have our friend. The first cut or meaning of would not be complete without the mention of Raul, just how much of a supporter he is. So it's fitting that we end off on his message. Let me see here. There you go.
Love you all. RB3, you're awesome. Donate, sign petitions, share them. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Thank you, Raul. And also, I gotta say, Raul, I feel so bad because we did an episode of his new show together. Where we talked about the movie School Days, and we did a deep breakdown of it. And it just happened to get caught up in all this whirlwind, so it just all got drowned out. But I deeply apologize about that, bro. I wish I would have known this thing wouldn't have happened during the same time that you're dropping that episode. But thank you so much for having me on, and make sure you check that out on his channel as well.
Well, speaking of that, I can't believe I forgot. Tomorrow, our Josh Trank episode drops on YouTube.
Yeah.
So for anyone listening right now, we interviewed Josh Trank. It's a very long and candid and outspoken interview. I really hope anyone listening now, hopefully I see 68 people in the chat, all 68 of you, please check it out. That's one of the best ways you can support us, is by listening to that episode.
And if they want to listen to it now, it's available
there you go.
on our Spotify, our Apple podcast, on every place that you can find podcast at. It's available there at this moment, so be sure to check it out.
There you go, guys. Tomorrow, Josh Trank is on the show, so make sure you guys tune in. We would appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already to the First Cut crew. On behalf of the First Cut crew, I'm Andres.
This is RB3.
I'm Sabrina.
And we're peacing out. Peace out, guys.